Hello,
Okay.
everyone, and welcome back to Symbiosis for Weekend. I'm very excited today, to introduce to you Dashaen. He's from India, and I think he might be the youngest uh, mentee in this round. So, a very talented calligrapher who started, I think, mainly during COVID. But let's hear from him. He's going to tell you his story. So, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. I did a really bad job of promoting myself on social media, but still, I feel so good to see all of you here. I'm gonna start my screen share, and you should be able to see my whole screen.
Yeah.
All right. Can you see my screen well?
Mm-hmm. It's good.
Okay. So, hi, everyone. My name is Rajan Kumar Singh, but a lot of people know me by Dashaen as well. I'm 23 and I'm a calligraphy and type design student from New Delhi, actually, in India. I grew up in this northern region of India, but my parents are actually from the eastern state of India called Bihar. Around 25 to 30 years ago, they moved to the capital city, New Delhi, where I was born and brought up until 2 to 3 years ago when we moved again to this new state, Haryana, which is just neighboring the capital city, New Delhi, and I'm still exploring the city. I have, as a kid, sorry, I was always interested in uh, nature, anime, and hip hop music, especially from the 90s. These two are one of my favorite albums from that time period, and this is my favorite anime series. And this is a picture that I took last year when I went on a small trip to Himachal Pradesh, which is a state in the a mountain region of India. The word Himachal comes from the Himalayas mountains, and it's a really beautiful, pretty place. I love visiting there, but I never really tried to create art. Although I was always interested in this anime and hip hop, which is artsy form of expression, I think. Uh, until school finished. As soon as school was finished, I thought that maybe I should try something new. I didn't want to go the academic route because, for some reason, it never spoke to me, and I was searching for something that I could enjoy doing for the rest of my life. Although it feels like a big decision to take at 18 or 19, but I thought maybe I can take a break. And in that break, I tried a lot of things. And one of those things was this uh, brush lettering thing that I tried. I made this with just brush pens, and it at that time it was going viral on Instagram, all this modern calligraphy thing that people were trying, and I was also interested in it. And for some reasons, I really liked it. I don't know why, I really liked making letters. And it was also very strange because in India, or especially in the part that where I grew up in, we speak Hindi and we write Devanagari script. And this Latin script, I knew how to write it because we are taught in school, but we are never taught the calligraphic way of doing things. And because of that, I never learned it formally, but I knew that what I was doing here was just copying people, and I didn't want to do that. So I reached out to a few people who were doing formal calligraphy, and I would just ask them, hey, how do you do this? Or how do you learn this? And some of them never replied, but some did. And I was really lucky to be in touch with them. And some of them said that you can take classes for this because I don't think there are calligraphy schools these days. I think in the 90s or 80s there were, but not anymore. So I and at that time it was also the time when pandemic happened, and I joined Zoom classes. And my first Zoom class teacher was this amazing calligrapher, Christopher Hornis. And I didn't know who was he. I just asked my friend, who is your favorite calligrapher? And he said, I like Christopher Hornis's work. And I said, okay. I will just join his classes. And I just emailed him and asked him about his classes, and he was really helpful. Uh, Although I now realize that he's really busy, but still he still took out the time to help me with my queries and also help me with the classes. So I'm super grateful to him. I also realized that it wasn't the best decision, maybe because he is really advanced and I just joined it. I had never even picked up a pen. I just joined his class. So I was like, because he's famous and everyone knows him, maybe he's a good teacher. So, and he was, and he is. And I just joined it. And one of the things that I learned the most from him is that in his classes, the first two classes are mostly about the basics, but then he shows you all the trickery that he can do with his pen, and that gave me a solid foundation to work on. And nowadays, whenever I look at a piece of lettering, I know that people are retouching things or people are using a lot of pens, and it's not just one pen doing all the thing. So I'm super grateful for him and his class. At that time, I was also alone. So I thought maybe I should be taking classes after classes. And that's not the right way to learn calligraphy. Usually you need to just take one class and spend around 3 4 months learning the script. But I thought, no, maybe I need a community of people, I need friends. So for me, the taking classes was more about meeting friends than just learning calligraphy. And also I wanted to make Mr. Horn is proud that I'm doing well and see my work. So, and that happened. And I really feel grateful for his classes. This is one of the pieces that I could create from his Zoom classes. It's Roman caps in just, I am using two nibs here, I think. And then I think as at that time, a lot of things went online. So a lot of guilds in the US, they were also promoting free online lectures. And during one of these lecture, I think I met my mentor Barry Morantz from the New York, and we were just talking. I think it was a lecture series by the work of Donald Jackson where we met, and that's how I started my mentee journey under Barry Morantz. I didn't even know what mentorship in calligraphy can be like, because for me, I was just meeting people, learning from them, and I had only one teacher who was Christopher. And when I met Barry, he would teach me things in a different way, because I think Christopher's approach was more German and more typographic, but Barry had different teachers like Sheila Waters. So he would teach me things in a different way. And I think I was getting the best of both worlds this way. And that really helped me. Barry actually advised me that I should apply for a scholarship by the Washington Calligraphers Guild. It's called the Herman Zaff Scholarship, and you basically need to be a member of the guild for a year, and then you can apply for the scholarship. And he very generously bought me the membership for it. So I'm again very grateful. And I had to submit three pieces for the scholarship, just like Symbiosis. So by the end of it, I could produce three pieces. One of them piece is looks like this. I created this under the guidance of Barry. And this talks about the Virgin Mother poem by Italian poet. I can't pronounce the name, so skipping it. But it's in two languages. One, the Italian is written in italic, and the uh, English version or the Latin version is in foundational, which looks a bit wrong, but yeah, we move on. And then I got like $1,000 from the WCG, and I was just excited nowadays, because one of the big problems for taking classes, especially in India, was the price. When you convert the USD to INR, it's a lot. It's a lot, and especially for someone who was just starting out after school and had no job. So that $1,000 gave me a lot of confidence to take classes more than once at sometimes, and maybe that wasn't a good decision, but I was really excited. I was taking 2 or 3 classes, not three, just two. I remember taking 2 class at once, and this one was under a class by John Stevens. This is one of the homeworks, two of the homeworks that I could create. Then I, I could create this piece by a class under Elmo von Slingerland, and yeah, this in this piece, I think I'm using a pointed nib here and a lot of retouching, but I was able to explore all of these things because I was able to see different teachers do different things. And at this point, I moved away from taking just classes with Christopher because I thought I had the money and I had taken almost all of Mr. Honest's classes at that point. So that was a good exploration for me. Then I moved on and did something like this. I think this one is one by a class that I attended with Carl Ross on the left, on the right. And this is a piece that I could create because I wanted to move on from the formal world of calligraphy to this more expression based thing. Uh, I wanted to be more free with my work, and it says now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds, and I, I I explored it, but at the same time I knew that I was still producing just homework pieces. I could not produce a whole piece like how people would do in the old times because the lack of education that I had. Even in the Zoom classes, you don't get a lot of sorry, yeah, even in the Zoom classes, you don't get a lot of uh, composition based classes of how people used to do it in the old times. So I thought, what is available at that time that I could spend my time on? And I realized that Mr. Honest would always talk about his love for the relationship between type and calligraphy. So I thought maybe I should apply for a type design course. And at that time, uh, the letter form archive in the San Francisco were giving a scholarship for their type design, year-long type design program called the Type West. So I applied for it and I somehow luckily got the scholarship as well as the admission in that course. So that's and I'm still in the course. The last class is on Monday, and this is a typeface that I created during the first term. It is a revival of something that already exists, but we just digitized everything and created this system of typeface. And on the right, I am just creating. I'm still working on it. Typeface, which is inspired by handwriting, uh, but a bit more formal. It's a three font style family which I'm creating. So hopefully you'll be able to see it soon when I release it someday. But at the same time, Miss Dorothy reached out to me for the Symbiosis mentorship program, and when she did that, I was a bit confused whether I should say yes or no to this because at that time I was doing a lot. I was in a year-long intensive program, and then Barry would always advise me that I need to keep practicing my calligraphy, otherwise I'll get rusty, and I didn't want that. So I was like, should I say yes or no? But in the end, I said yes because I didn't know whether I would be able to get this opportunity again or not. And I was still a baby, so who knows? It's not a big deal even if I fail. So for me, it's more about again meeting people and being in the group always. And I
Oh,
like that. And
yeah.
I like that a lot. So I said yes. And when I said yes, I asked myself, what is something that I am going to create for this program? I was doing formal calligraphy, I was doing type design. So what is something that is missing from my life that I can build on? And it was this artistic side of calligraphy that a lot of people like Yves Leterme or Brody Neuschwander does. I know that their work is very refined and they have done like 30 or 20, 50 years maybe of work to achieve that. But maybe all I needed to do was just start, and I will build upon it in future. So this is was my mind at that time. I was doing this formal calligraphy thing. I was doing this type design on my computer, and this is something that I wanted to do. And this is from a final piece that I submitted. So that happened, but to reach here, I need to fix some personal goals for myself, like how I'm going to reach there. Why am I even trying to do this? So I knew that I'm not going to judge my calligraphy because my final pieces were going to be about writing. So one of the things I wanted to understand was what writing exactly is. Like, uh, I was always looking at it through a critical, technical lens, but people write every day, and how can I create it into an art, a piece? Maybe that was my first, and then the second was I wanted to express myself in some ways because I wanted to go the artistic way, and for me, art is like an expression of ourselves, and maybe letter forms are just a tool that we can use to express ourselves. And in the end, I wanted to talk about my emotions as well through these pieces because although I was taking these all these online classes, but at the same time, I was alone most of the times. Even here, not a lot of people understand the kind of calligraphy and type design things. So I would just most of the times talk to myself. And Symbiosis was this program where I can, like how I'm doing right now, I can express all these feelings to some like-minded people. They don't need to be a lot. I always believe that if I can just impress my teachers, that would be great for me. So these were some personal goals for myself that I set. And to reach there, this were the few things that helped me a lot. Like in the type design program, I was really fortunate to have Ewan Clayton as my history teacher. He taught us type history for the whole first semester, 3 to 4 months, and we would meet him once a week, and he would share all his knowledge about calligraphy, writing, and everything that he knows, and that really helped me a lot. Like earlier I used to think that letter writing just has to be about letter forms, but then he talked about hieroglyphs and how if I can make a house, I don't need to write house, I can just make a house, and it is writing as well. And then I also realized he also talked about some of the work by other people where they are not even making writing or symbols, they are just making marks, but it is also writing. But he also taught us that uh, to be something writing, there needs to be a language attached to it. So I needed to think of words that I'm going to write. And and as soon as I realized that, I thought, okay, maybe I can share my personal stories from my pieces just by writing. Maybe people will not be able to read it, but when I'm writing it, I will be having this zone where I'm just expressing myself in that small amount of time, and it will be a permanent thing for forever. And then I reached out to Yves Leterme to ask him how do you do things, and he recommended me this mark making book by Stephen Imon, which was really helpful for me. And the third part was like, okay, I'm writing, I'm making marks, how can I produce all of it into a final art piece? And that's where Julie was helping me a lot. Miss Willman would teach me her would give me her time and would teach me everything she knows, and maybe not everything she knows, but everything that I was ready to absorb from her at that time period. So she would teach me classes on composition, she would teach me classes on mark making, and somehow I started to understand how people build their final pieces by these 1, 2, 3 tools that they have in their uh, skill set. So, but I asked myself, okay, I'm trying to do all of this, but why am I going this route? Why am I not going the route of something that I already know? I could have use this opportunity to build on my formal calligraphy and build more exhibition niche pieces. But I felt like I was alone a lot of times, and in that small 2 to 3 years period of me learning calligraphy, I was also diagnosed with some disease for a year, and I wasn't able to do it. So there was also some kind of anxiety that grew inside me, and I wasn't able to speak about any of this to anyone. So I thought maybe this is the way that I need to express it. So that's why this 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 I choose to go this route. And then everything was figured out, but still I wasn't able to make anything. I remember that my teammate Ines would come with all of her big pieces every month, and I had nothing. And I think the biggest reason was that when you do something technical and formal for so long, it becomes really hard for you to break out of that habit and create and appreciate something which is not traditional, or I don't have the right words, but I think something new that I was doing, because I didn't have any skill set to judge it. I can make this mark, but is it good enough? I didn't know. And I wanted good enough things for me. I wanted to love the things that I was making. And maybe that's why I was taking time. It took like a 4 or 5, 6 months maybe to break out of that habit. And then I was finally able to start making things. And these are the first few explorations that I did for the final pieces. I think here I'm just trying to, in the first one, I'm just trying to just make things and don't judge it. Just use any colors. I think Janine, Miss Janine is here. She would tell me, Go look out in the nature and look at the trees and the leaves. You don't have to make sense of it. They already have colors in them. So use them. Use whatever you see." So I was like, okay, that's the way. And then I was here, I was just writing. I didn't know what kind of marks I was making, but I was making marks, and I was also interested in collage. So I made this small thing, and then one of the best thing that happened with me was that Miss Mitchell, yeah, uh, sorry, my brain is fogging a little bit. Miss Wildman would take classes, and she would come back, and I would ask her, "What did you learn? Please teach me as well." So. Uh, in that way I was able to take uh, classes with the people I didn't even attend like live. I would just ask her, what kind of exercises did you do, what kind of critique that did you get, and she would share that with me very generously. And this is, I think, from a workshop she did with Danish Lak, and I tried to imitate that exercise here with the ballpoint pen. So I was learning it that way as well. Then I thought, okay, I'm doing all of this, but what's more that I can do with just this writing practices? So I thought maybe this is the way. I have a three, I think she's four now, 4-year-old niece, and whenever I give her my pens, she would make these crazy paintings, and she would always love them for some reason. I don't know why, but she would say, "This looks really pretty." So I thought maybe I can try to make some kind of paintings like that and then write on top of it. And then I thought, okay, maybe I don't need to make a and use a writing tool to make marks. I can just use the end of a brush to make these expressive marks on top of, I think, gesso here mixed with some gray ink to create this piece, or just exercise piece. And then here's some other tools that I used. This is also a result of me trying to understand how just mark making and just writing textures work. This is also from a book, Danish Lak's books. And also, I was really looking at the work of Laurie Doctor. I really love her work and her approach to calligraphy and writing. So I also took the workshop. It's called the Speak to Me from Everywhere. But as I was doing all of these things, I realized that I was again copying and not creating something of my own. And I realized that it's a difficult thing to overcome because I'm still in the first year or like first few months of exploring these things. It's difficult to create something of my own, but it's very necessary for me because it's a kind of expression. So I thought maybe I'll need to create something that is like amalgamation of everything that I know. And that's how my final three pieces that I was making came in uh, uh, this reality. And this is the small book that I made. This is the first piece that I made for the Symbiosis. It's called The Silent Noise, and I named it The Silent Noise because it's more about me exploring my inner thoughts and expressing them in some ways that I'm always noisy on the inside. Like I have this overwhelming thoughts that I have to deal with every time, every day, but I never spoke about all of those things to anyone. So, but in this book, I just wrote everything that I knew, and I knew that nobody was going to be able to read them. So, that felt like a safe space for me. These are the pages inside the book, as you can see. This is the first and the second page. This book has a very dark and I think, yeah, dark color to it. Maybe that's because of the mindset that I was in, and it's very chaotic. And it says Barry Barry and Chiris Christopher because they really helped me, and I was thinking about their helpful nature at that time. And then this says my name, and it's like a mental situation that I was in DASH, and then a lot. So that's how this small book came into practice. And for the second piece, Julie actually advised me to use more colors and create paintings because just because it's good to do that. So I thought, okay, maybe I can try. And Miss Inez was also making paintings, so that inspired me. So that's how I made this second piece. It's called I named it the Ocean of Knowledge, and because there's this uh, formal thing in the background, which is like calligraphy is very formal, and but I still wanted to explore things in this free form writing, and that's what I'm doing on the top of it. And I think I wrote, use your breath and intention to write and not force, which shows the intentionality of our writing. It's a quote that I learned from Mr. Christopher Honest from his classes. And I was really happy to see that this was this big ocean of knowledge, and I'm still in this small little bubble of my own, which I still feel I am. And in the third piece, which is this, I named it Growth. I think with this piece, I was trying to create a focus point in terms of composition on the left hand side of it. And I named it Growth because although I'm trying to grow every day, but for some reason something wrong keeps happening and but I still try. So all of these things on top of the growth represent that I'm still trying, and all of these things keep blocking that growth, but I'm still trying. This R is just my first name's Rajan R, and this blue is about the room. I have a room, art studio room, which has these blue walls, and I'm always fixated in those blue walls, creating things alone. So that's my time, and I just want to say thanks to Miss Dorothy for creating this platform. I want to thanks to my mentor Julie Wildman and my amazing teammate Ines, and also to everyone who is present here. You have taught me a lot from your presentations and everything that you guys do. So, and it means a lot to me. So, thank you so much.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you. You did it in half an hour.
Yeah.
That was fast. Julie, you're gonna say something.
Well done, my friend. That was excellent.
Yay.
Dashaen shared a little bit with me yesterday. We were just going through it, and I think he just did fabulously well. So great job. I'm so proud of Dashaen. This, as you mentioned, Dashaen, he came from a formal calligraphy. He's been doing this all during the pandemic for about 4 years now, right? 3, 4 years. And as you've seen from his formal work, he's just really picked it up, and he can see, which is probably one of the biggest things as artists and calligraphers that we need to learn how to do, is to see what the goal is, and then we train our hands to get there. But seeing is probably the biggest thing that one needs to learn as an artist and calligrapher, because you have to understand the positive as well as the negative space. And Dashaen sees very well. So, but then getting that coming to me, I remember asking Dorothy, why are you sending Dashaen to me? From the formal background, I mean, I have a formal background, as we all do, but I've veered off into something a little bit more expressive and funky. And it was just for this reason, because Dashaen expressed that he wanted to learn how to be freer, to be more expressive. So it was just such a privilege to work with him and try to pull that out. And I even said, you could do a formal piece because that's your background, but he really wanted to reach into this new realm. So, excuse me, I think he did very well with it. Excuse me, I'm going to. But anyway, I am just so proud of you, and because this really was, you had to dig deep for this, and it shows in your work. So well done. And he's a sponge, a learning sponge. It's such a thrill to work with someone who's so curious. And I said, one of the things in my life, I always say I want to always be a beginner at something, because it means that I'm always learning something new. And that's what I always try to encourage my students. It's like, don't compare yourself. Don't think that you have to be like me or like the person next to you. And Dashaen he's curious. He has courage. Like, he goes and he emails these people that to us are like the bigwigs in calligraphy. And he's just like, hi, I'm Dashaen. I want to learn this. And it's amazing to me that he's done that. And like Dorothy, you put in the comments that he's creating his own degree program. And we talked about this yesterday, Dashaen, where it was like, as a student going to college, my parents didn't have the money to send me. So I had to work hard to get scholarships through high school. And that's what Dashaen is doing. He's just reaching out to finding the good teachers, finding where the money is, and making a program for himself so that he can maybe do this as a career. So I just applaud you, Dashaen. I think you have a lot of courage, and you are humble, and you're teachable, and you will go a long way with that attitude. So well done.
Thank you
Oh,
so much. Thank
thank you. That's awesome. Janine, are you there? Do you want to say something? Because, you have been very much a part of his journey as well. Let me just put you on. You muted. Do you want to say something?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Okay. Hi. I just wanted to say that Dashaen and I have had lots of little chats about all sorts of things, experimental and contemporary, and I think it's quite a journey to break out from all of the safe tradition that's been taught for years and years and years, and to find something that's uniquely about you. To go searching. I think it's easy to work from a model. It's quite another thing to find your hand and your movement and something that you are infinitely pleased with. I think it's quite a difficult thing, having been through it myself. And you can spend a long time, really soul searching for what it is you're trying to bring down to the page. And I can sort of see that journey, because I've been on the side of it, hearing about it, but not really seeing what was coming out. We would chat often about, he was trying things and working on things, and he said, next week I'll show you something. So we talked quite a lot about all different ways that he might go forward, and I'm glad that's been some help. But I'm really excited to see what he's produced, and to hear him speak about the journey tonight, because I think it's quite a big deal. You know, if I had started this way when I was quite young and very new, I probably would have really struggled to branch out in the way that he has. So congratulations and well done. Great to see the
Thank
path
Wow.
that you're
you.
still on.
Thank
You're still
you.
on it. It's early days.
How did it come about that you two connected? Was it just Dashaen just send you a message or something?
I, I, I think it was probably my teachers posting about me on Facebook or something. That's how we. And I think Miss Janine had a new account that I followed because her whole account got hacked, I think. So I really loved her work. So I don't remember. I don't.
I don't remember either. It's too
But
long
it's
ago.
lovely. It's lovely. Thank you. Thank you, Janine, for supporting. Thanks. Appreciate.
No problem.
Ines, are you there? Are you able to say something? Because Ines was his fellow mentee. Are you
Yes,
there?
hello. Yes,
Hi.
I'm here. I have just a little background noise, sorry. I'm
It's
on the
okay.
car. Oh, this was just wonderful, Dashaen, just to see you, how, as I said, how you flourished in this process, and how you're showing the true artist that you are, not just a skilled calligrapher that you know that you are, but also a full artist. And it's
Mm.
just so beautiful to watch. I'm grateful to be able to join you in your journey and to share this moment. And also, you're not just a wonderful artist; you're a beautiful person,
Oh,
and that's the best. So congratulations, you're
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
oh, that's so kind. Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to add that maybe I will unpin Dashaen so we can just see everybody, right? So actually I was going to say that even if you are a not even if you are um like a very seasoned, calligrapher, I think when we like what Janine said, when we try to leave the safety of our rules, or the formal writing that we are so familiar with, when we try to leave that and create something that is from zero, something that's expressive and personal, we all struggle. And I think that everyone in the room understands. They remember what it was like, trying to make something that was personal, something that is expressive, and then all these thoughts about, is it important? Why am I saying this? Who cares about what I feel or think? Who is interested to know? But I think that, everybody is interested to know because it's so personal. And because it's meaningful and personal to you, so it becomes something that resonates with others. Like when we saw the book that you made, where you felt like really alone and you're just writing out your thoughts and struggling with the way that you were thinking, I think those things really resonated with us. So I feel like if you hadn't done it, it would not exist. But now it exists, and it's something that only you can do and nobody else. So this is so important, and I'm so glad that you have done this. So thank you, and thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for sharing. It's really precious and beautiful to watch
Thank you
your
so much.
transformation and to watch you flourish.
Thanks.
So
Thanks.
congrats. It's good. Does anybody else in the room want to add a comment?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a go.
Yes, go ahead.
Firstly, thank you. Thanks, Shane. That was really interesting. I must admit, after having seen a lot of your formal works, again, I was more familiar with the classical calligraphy that you've done. So it's kind of like, oh, I'm relatively new to this. It's like, damn, this is new? Oh, okay. So it's kind of really just kind of watching some of the quality of your work and seeing that. So I have to admit, when we came, I was expecting some full-on enormous formal pieces. So I think what's been really, really interesting is actually just seeing you go, yeah, you know what? No, I'm going to do something completely different. So 180 degrees off and speed in a different direction. So again, really a very nice surprise to see, because again, just going from the posts and things that you'd seen, the expectation was fully of some classical masterpiece that would be, you know, very much in keeping with what I'd seen beforehand. So again, it's really thanks for sharing the journey and the kind of and the decisions. Again, the kind of like this is artistic and it has meaning for you, as opposed to it's a perfect example of a model of writing and formal script that has been done before. I mean, all right, never mind. The rest of us still struggling along with some of those formal models and doing that anyway. But again, really interesting to hear your journey and the series of choices that led you in that direction as opposed to where it looked like. So again, keeping it interesting, applauding your success. So, you know, take my hat off to you.
Thank
Job
you
well
so
done, and you know, many more years of success. It seems like you're off on a ridiculous trajectory. So good on you, man. Well done.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Togs. That's very generous. Actually, does everybody notice that he has only done this since COVID? It's crazy, right? Dashin, I don't know whether you're aware that you are very talented. I mean, people must have said this to you many, many times. And I really applaud you for being such an avid learner. You know, that you're just going to pursue this, and we're so glad we're here for it. We're here for your journey. We're excited for you. We wish you well, we wish you success, and we're going to be following you. So will there be more type? When are you releasing your type?
Uh, Maybe not the one that I have created, because to release a typeface, you need to do a lot of background things as well. And it's different from releasing anything like a piece, because people buy it and it has a license and everything. So maybe someday, but I will post about my graduation project soon.
Yeah, sure. And you are going to talk about your type in your next presentation, right?
Tomorrow.
Your first typeface, yeah, tomorrow. So everyone, tomorrow, Dashin at the same time will be sharing with us about his typographic design aspect. So you will see the other side of him, which is, you know, more the, right? Am I right? The technical, the precise. So it's awesome. It's wonderful. So, well, I think we've come to the end of the presentation. I'm going to pause, no, not pause, stop the recording. So thanks everyone for coming.